We're back to give you the legal edge and continue our discussion on a statewide ballot initiative you'll see next month, Proposal 3. It seeks to amend the state constitution by including certain reproductive rights, including the right to an abortion. Yesterday at 5:30, you heard from both sides of this heated issue. Those in support say the proposal will restore the rights that existed before Roe v. Wade was overturned. Those against, though, argue the proposal is confusing and goes way too far. Well, tonight we hear from local attorney Brian Waldman, who carefully went through the language of this proposal, and here's his legal take on it.
Now, those opposing the bill, in some extreme cases, say that the law would essentially allow anyone to perform an abortion. Some have even said that it would legalize pedophilia. It clearly doesn't do those extreme things. So what does it do? Well, essentially, it creates the right to an abortion and other reproductive rights in the Michigan Constitution, and says the government cannot infringe on those rights without a compelling state interest. And that in spite of that, the government has a right to regulate abortions after fetal viability, and that in other cases, the state has a compelling interest to regulate abortions if that compelling interest is to protect the health of the person seeking medical care or seeking the abortion. Now, that does sound a lot like Roe, but what does it mean? If the law passes, clearly the 1931 law that's on the books in Michigan now that ban abortions in almost all cases except to protect the life of the mother is going to be invalidated. It would be invalidated by the adoption of this constitutional amendment. If it doesn't pass, the validity of that 1931 law is already in the courts. So you'll have the courts deciding the validity or the constitutionality of the 1931 law. Now, again, if this law passes, many people say there's going to be a lot of laws that immediately become invalid. And I don't think that's true. There may also be a number of laws in the future that are challenged based on this new constitutional provision if this ballot initiative passes. Now, to very much simplify the issue, I think what will happen if this ballot initiative passes is if there is a law, a past law or a future law, that is solely intended to restrict a woman's right to an abortion, it'll be found unconstitutional. It'll be found to violate the Michigan Constitution with this new reproductive right protection. If the purpose is to protect public health or some other legitimate state interest, and it's a compelling state interest, then that law is going to be upheld. And it really becomes, in my opinion, that's a very much a simplification, but that's what the courts would be looking at when they decide the constitutionality of other laws relating to abortion if this constitutional amendment passes.
Coming up next.